In civil and criminal jurisprudence will be now called to order. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Schroer.
Here.
Gregory 15. Brown 26. Coleman. May. Here. Roberts. Here. Schnelting. Here.
Having a quorum, we will now move to the public hearings. Hearing Senate Bill 218 first. Senator Black, don't know if you see what I'm wearing today. It's for you. So you can proceed when ready.
I like it, Mr. Chairman.
I've heard once you go black.
If you notice, just before we get started, people are loving listening to this on the internet. I know you've got thousands of listeners.
Tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands. Yeah, I found a black suit that I don't think I'd worn 3 or 4 years back in my closet at the lake and wore it yesterday. I don't know what was on the back side of it, but I wore it. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Rusty Black, and I represent the 12th Senate District. Thank you for taking the time to hear Senate Bill 218. This bill includes within treatment courts in the state of Missouri a specific authorization for what would be known as mental health courts. I'm sure most of you on the committee are familiar with the work of what drug courts have done, and this would add another element to those types of treatment courts. For those who are not familiar, treatment courts are defined as specialized, non-adversarial court division with jurisdiction over cases involving substance-involved offenders and making use of comprehensive supervision, drug and alcohol testing and treatment services. Current divisions include adult treatment court, DWI court, family court, juvenile court, veterans court, and this would add to the list mental health court. Mental health court would be defined as a treatment court focused on addressing the mental health disorder or co-occurring disorders of defendants charged with a criminal offense. Our substance abuse task force, that I think the chairman is a member of, I don't believe anybody else, there's a couple House members. We get to hear testimony about these things regularly through the summer, through our time off. Heard testimony from administrators of treatment courts that provided that these courts are a cost-effective way to avoid incarceration, reduce recidivism, offer offenders a way to remain connected to the community, and reduce the amount of babies who are prenatally exposed or addicted to illicit substances, reduce crime, family separation, ensure child support payments are made on time, and avoid pain and societal costs resulting from drug and alcohol use and mental disorders. So thank you for the time. I'd be happy to answer any questions, but I also have 2 witnesses here that are probably even greater experts than I.
Thank you, Senator. I want to applaud you for this bill. I fully support it. In my, I think a couple attorneys on this committee, we've had experience with the treatment courts, DWI courts, the veterans courts. And I know in St. Charles County, it's been eye-opening. I remember when I first became a licensed attorney and I went to my first treatment court, I think it was a DWI court. I had a misconception that we were going light on these criminals. And after having clients that have substance abuse issues, went through this, they got better, became good members of society once again, and they weren't reoffending. Started looking at these numbers, I'm like, man, this really works. And when it comes to mental health, we have a mental health issue in our nation right now, and in our state as well. And I think this could absolutely help get them the help that they need, assist them in picking themselves up by their own bootstraps. And I fully support it. So with that, open it up to any questions. Senator May, I figured you'd have a question.
No.
Looking at that fiscal note.
I love this bill. You know, I've been a mental health advocate as well, so I'm excited. Yes.
And thank you for mentioning the task force. That was something that members of my community, Judge Olms, who's now retired from back in St. Charles County, we kind of created that and threw it out there. And the rest of the body, I think it was former Speaker Elijah Haar, allowed me to spearhead that and create it. And we've been doing a lot of good things on that. So with that, I'll let you bring up your first witness in support. I know you're a grizzled veteran. You're going to have your witness form ready for us up there, so proceed when ready.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Eric Jennings, the Government Relations Counsel at the Supreme Court, appearing on behalf of the Judicial Conference of Missouri. This is part of the Judicial Conference's legislative agenda for the last year and this year as well. And we appreciate Senator Black being willing to sponsor that and move it forward. I think he's adequately summarized most everything relating to that. I did want to point out just a few technical matters. The inclusion of the mental health treatment courts in this list permits those courts, some of which do already exist but are funded locally or with federal grants, gives them access to the Treatment Court Resource Fund, which is overseen by the Treatment Court Coordinating Commission, and allows them to have a steady source. It also permits, at a statewide level, the Treatment Courts Coordinating Commission can apply best standards and produce some uniformity throughout the state in all of these treatment courts. And so we would appreciate your consideration of this. There is one other item in here that I want to note in case anyone has any questions later. Representative Dave Griffith had brought a matter to us with a statute passed 2 years ago concerning the waiver of treatment court fees for honorably discharged veterans. The statute in which that was passed referred to court costs and included fees, but there is a sentence in 478-001 relating to the treatment courts that indicates that treatment court fees shall not be considered court costs. And so just to realign those two, we've included some minor language in there to make sure that those match up. We've checked on that. That is not something that will cause any significant fiscal detriment to any of the treatment courts. And so we appreciate him bringing that to our attention as well.
I think you mentioning uniformity is key. I think back when most of us here were on the House side, I forget who the sponsor was, but I know we'd passed a uniform method of these treatment courts because I understood back probably in 16, 17, you had some jurisdictions that didn't partake in the treatment courts or didn't have a veterans court, may have had a DWI court. So I think getting us all on the same page across the state is absolutely in the best interest of all of us. Any questions? Seeing none.
We appreciate the 2018 larger bill. That was former Representative Kevin Austin, who is now Treatment Court Commissioner in Greene County. So.
Next witness in support, please come forward. Make sure you have a witness form and you have 3 hours for your testimony.
It will not take that long. Good morning. My name is Nicole Larkin. Thank you for having me this morning. Okay. I am a therapist and credentialed counselor out of Pettis County. I am with Recovery Lighthouse, a nonprofit organization that is in Johnson, Pettis, and Cooper County. We are also the treatment provider for the substance use disorder treatment court out of those 3 counties. And I am here today to share a little bit about the Lighthouse and services that we offer, but also to describe our treatment courts out of those 3 counties and the need that we see being on the ground in these 3 counties for mental health treatment courts. So the Lighthouse started in 2006 by Dr. Adriatic Lascani. He is currently a professor at the University of Central Missouri, and since its inception in 2006, we have expanded to 2 office locations and 4 recovery housing locations as well. Currently, as I described a little bit ago, is that we currently are the treatment provider for Johnson County, Pettis, and Cooper. At this time in Johnson County, we have 35 individuals in our treatment court for substance use disorder, with 9 slated for being pled into the program. We have 21 in Pettis, with 6 slated for being pled into the program, and 10 in Cooper, with 3 on board coming soon for treatment. So since 2016, Johnson County Treatment Court has served 223 individuals with 139 graduates. we have an 85% graduation rate. So for Johnson County, this program works. In conjunction with treatment, probation and parole, so community supervision, the judges and the prosecutor and defense attorneys as a treatment team were able to provide these individuals a new beginning. So Johnson County itself is a model for treatment courts nationwide. So based on statistics, one of the best performing courts in Missouri, for one, and two, nationwide. To function at the current rate, $400,000 per year is needed to provide treatment, and that's with 50 to 60 individuals in our treatment program per year. We are funded by SAMHSA federal grant. That grant was awarded to us for Johnson County in 2016. Since then, that grant has expired. So now Johnson County is operating off of the Office State Courts Administration, it's OSCA. So currently that's where the funds to operate our treatment court is coming from. However, we just received word that those funds actually will be diminished at the end of this month. So with Recovery Court, individuals and families are able to heal, live a sustainable and healthy, productive life, and with systems in place working congruently, such as probation and parole. The court system trained, lived experienced peers, so those who have gone through the program of treatment court are now employed and trained by the state of Missouri to provide these services to these individuals. They're able to have effective and intentional lasting change. Now, with all of that said, we are a substance use disorder treatment facility. We have participants who come into our services who have co-occurring or severe mental health diagnoses. Because of the capacity of Recovery Lighthouse, we unfortunately are not able to provide those more intensive mental health treatment to our participants. We then outsource within our community to mental health services in hopes that they receive what they need. We've had situations specifically in our Warrensburg location of a gentleman who had come into the office thinking that we were there to help him with his mental health. Unfortunately, we were not. And Adriatic, the founder of Recovery Lighthouse, happened to be in the office at that point. And the specific individual heard him being called doctor and put doctor with medical, I can receive medicine and help for what I'm experiencing. Not realizing that the doctor part for Adriatic was PhD. So he became frustrated and upset because we were not able to equip him with the services that he needed. And it turns out he threw a rock at one of our windows, and because he wasn't able to self-regulate, he wasn't able to give himself that grace that he needed to get through that moment. We didn't do anything. We didn't file charges. We didn't call the police, right? We managed the situation as it came to us because he shouldn't be treated as a criminal because his mental health, is to the point where it's causing him this distress, and his behavior, outward behavior, is a result of that. So with this bill, we are complete in support of mental health courts. I know for Pettis County, we have just a local, county court mental health. But that's, again, it's got limitations, it's got funding limitations. So being able to offer mental health court in conjunction with Veterans Court and Substance Use Disorder Court and it's going to be absolutely amazing, and I appreciate your support and sponsor of the bill, and thank you for your time today as well.
Thank you for your testimony. Do we have any questions? You were thorough, and you've got like 2 hours to spare, so
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Any further witnesses in support, please come forward.
Thank you.
We have another veteran. Make sure you have your witness form filled out.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members, excuse me, members of the committee. My name is Jeremy LeFevre, and I'm appearing today on behalf of my client, Empower Missouri, and we're excited to support this legislation. We appreciate the sponsor bringing it forward. I don't want to say too much more than what the previous witness said, who said it all great. The one point I think I want to try to make or to emphasize is the efficiencies that these kinds of programs create within our criminal justice system. As this committee knows, and the legislature certainly is debating it, violent crime is an issue throughout our state. And if we can make sure that the resources are spent on violent crime where it needs to, and folks who don't need that intensive resources are getting the mental health treatment that they need, we're making sure that the people are where they need to be, and we're most efficiently using our resources, our capital dollars, but also our human resources to make sure that the people of our state are getting the best services that they can for the best outcomes that we all deserve. And so this is a great piece of legislation, particularly as the state is looking at gaining new efficiencies and taking a look at our criminal justice system, and we think it's a great step. Happy to answer any questions or follow up with the committee offline.
I've got a question I don't know if you will be able to answer in your capacity. There's a bill moving through the House right now that would move the statute of limitations from 5 to 2 years. I know when you look at other states that have done that, the necessity to stock every jurisdiction with more judges, it's going to be a strain on our budget. If we were to do something like that, would you see that impacting these very important treatment courts that we have?
I'm sure there would be an impact on there. You know, I would want to take a comprehensive look at that
Right.
proposal there. But, you know, first blush, it sounds like something that certainly to look at.
Okay. We can talk offline. It was just something
Yeah.
that I thought about looking at the fiscal note. And I know there is a cost to this, but I think the overall cost, and I think both of you guys would agree, the upfront costs versus the long-term costs of reducing recidivism, getting these people back to contributing to society in a good way with our economy, it's well worth the upfront cost. So we'll open it up to any questions. Seeing none.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Any further witnesses in support? Seeing none. Any further witnesses against? Please come forward. Seeing none. Informational purposes. Did you forget your witness form? Are you kidding me? It's my first time. Senator, any closing remarks?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Hopefully you can figure out a way to be able to help move this legislation forward. Thank you very much.
I think we're going to be execing on this next week. So if you have any changes, let us know, or else we'll kick it up to leadership. Next bill, we're going to move to Senator May, Senate Bill 18. And I'm going to talk to her about the fiscal note on this thing. Senator, whenever you are ready, please proceed.
I prepared a speech. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I am Senator Carla May, representing the 4th Senatorial District. I'm here to discuss Senate Bill 18, a pivotal piece of legislation that addresses funding for law libraries in our state, particularly in the city of St. Louis. Law libraries play a crucial role in our judicial system, providing essential resources for legal research, education, and public access to legal information. They serve not only attorneys, but also self-represented litigants, students, and the general public, ensuring everyone has the tools necessary to navigate our legal system. Senate Bill 18 proposes to allow the circuit court in the city of St. Louis to charge a civil case filing surcharge of up to $20, aligning with existing provisions for other circuit courts. This surcharge will specifically support the maintenance enhancement of law libraries as well as other critical services. The additional funds collected from these surcharges will directly contribute to updating legal text, expanding digital resources, and improving access to legal databases. Increased funding means better resources for both the legal professionals and the public, fostering a more informed citizenry. Many individuals navigate the legal system without the assistance of an attorney. A well-funded law library can provide vital support through the access to legal materials and guidance. This ensures justice is accessible to all, regardless of their financial situation. Law libraries are essential for law students and legal practitioners to stay current with the legal developments and case law. Improving library resources will benefit future generations of lawyers, enhancing the legal profession in Missouri. Funds from the surcharge can also be allocated towards courtroom renovations and technology enhancements, improving the overall efficiency and effectiveness of our judicial system. Investing in technology ensures that our courts remain modern and capable of handling the demands of today's legal landscape. By allowing the City of St. Louis to charge the same surcharge as other circuits, we are ensuring equity and funding opportunities across the state. This promotes a more uniform approach to supporting our judicial resources statewide. In conclusion, Senate Bill 18 is about investing in the foundation of our legal system, the law library. By passing this legislation, we ensure that our law libraries remain robust, accessible, supporting not only the legal community, but also the citizens of Missouri seeking justice. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator. And I know there was some confusion about the fiscal note with 218 and 18.
Right.
So I don't have any questions. I was just giving you some trouble. Do we have any further discussion on this with Senator May? Seeing none. First witness and support, please come forward. Make sure you have your witness form ready to drop on the desk there, and you can proceed when ready.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Senators. My name is Bob Durker, now known as the old Judge Durker because my daughter is now on the circuit bench in the city, and she's the young Judge Durker. But I am retired, but I'm the president of the Law Library Association of the City of St. Louis, which is the oldest association of its kind west of the Mississippi. And we, under contract with the 22nd Circuit, operate and manage the law library in the Civil Courts Building. And if any of you have had the opportunity to visit our library, you would know it is a very elegant facility and a wonderful place to conduct legal research. We have, in recent years, made every effort to remain current and useful to the profession and to the public. And so while the ever-increasing costs of legal periodicals and books has spread us very thin, we have also attempted to provide conference facilities for attorneys for the trial bar, and we have provided outreach to pro se litigants and to help them navigate the system, which of course helps the 22nd Circuit, because I can speak from personal experience that having pro se litigants can be difficult. So we have been seeking this increase, as Senator May. I really have very little to add to her excellent statement. You know, we have been frozen at the $15 level since, I believe, 1996. And we have been, I was telling Senator Roberts that we started this quest, I think, when the late lamented Rich Byrd was chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And we've gone through Senator Keaveney, and we continue, and sometimes we get very close. This bill has passed each house at different times with little or no opposition. And I think the bar, the city of St. Louis is losing not just population, but also big law firms. So we are more important than ever to the trial bar and the attorneys who remain in the practice in the city of St. Louis in small or individual practices. So I would very earnestly commend this bill to the committee's attention. And I do emphasize, as Senator May pointed out, that Jackson County and St. Louis County have authority to go to $20 per cost. So we don't we don't take it lightly that this is, it's not a trivial increase, but it's badly needed. And the 22nd Circuit, I should say, has a history of never bleeding revenue from this cost away to other uses. The judges of that circuit recognize that the library provides a tremendous service to the court and to the community, and so they devote the entire cost to the law library. And I might say that I can't resist commenting that one piece of legislation that actually achieved its objective in my professional life was the venue change that was passed by the General Assembly, which diverted a great deal of litigation away from the city and has had a significant impact on the revenue from this filing fee. But so we respectfully urge you to give favorable consideration to this bill.
Thank you, Judge. I know you'd mentioned that St. Louis City has not utilized this fund for other issues aside from the library. Could you emphasize, and I have heard in other jurisdictions that they may use the library fund for certain events or to host different people coming in. Could you kind of illustrate what other issues somebody could use this fund for?
Well, my understanding is that St. Louis County 21st Circuit diverts revenue from the library surcharge to court automation, and I think possibly other operations. I'm not intimately familiar with how they spend it, but I do know that it is not devoted to the library. I should mention that the filing fee has been used in the past to assist in the renovation of the civil courts building, but it was only spent on the library facility and the upper floors of the building that the court has given a license to the library to use for public events and educational events. So the 22nd Circuit has been very good about devoting the funds to the library and its facility.
And with all, the internet having these databases with Lexis and Westlaw, is this something that individuals, whether they're pro se law students, can come in and tap into those subscriptions as well?
Well, the access to the electronic research is currently reserved for members. The library staff will assist non-members, and obviously within the limits, we don't engage in the unauthorized practice of law, but the library staff will utilize the electronic research to guide non-members. But right now, the members are the ones who get to use the electronic resources as part of the membership.
Thank you. Any questions for the judge? Seeing none. Thank you for your time coming out on this sloppy day. Any further witnesses in support?
Thank you, Senator. Thank you.
Seeing none, any witnesses in opposition? Seeing none, any witnesses for informational purposes? Seeing none, Senator, closing remarks.
Can this go consent?
Well, that's something I'm going to talk to leadership about. I know typically in the House, when I was on the consent committee, if there was any type of fiscal impact. And looking at the fiscal note on the second page, there is impact to the local governments. So that's where my question would be with leadership to look at our rules to see if we can get a consent or not.
It's a positive impact.
So we will discuss that offline. Seeing no further business before the committee, I now move that we adjourn we have a second and we are adjourned.